In a cozy little house on the outskirts of a small town, a dog named Rusty lived happily with his loving owners, Joan and Mary. Rusty was a loyal and faithful companion to his owners, and they loved him like their own child. Rusty spent most of his days playing, going for long walks with Joan and Mary, and snuggling up with them on the couch in the evenings. But his story was about to change in just one night. It was just before the time the couple found out they were going to have a baby. They were overjoyed and started making preparations for the new arrival. They set up a nursery and bought all the necessary baby gear. Rusty could sense that something was different in the house, and he knew that something big was about to happen. Finally, the day came when the baby was born. They brought their little bundle of joy home, and Rusty was over the moon with excitement. He could smell the new baby's scent and hear the soft cries coming from the nursery. Rusty was eager to meet the new addition to the family, but he also knew that he needed to be careful around the tiny human. For the first few weeks, everything was perfect. Rusty would lay by the baby's side and keep watch while Joan and Mary slept. He was a natural protector, and he took his role seriously. However, one fateful night, Rusty's world turned upside down. Joan and Mary were sound asleep when they were awoken by a loud noise coming from the kitchen. They quickly realized that the house was on fire and they needed to get out immediately. They rushed towards the baby's room, but the fire had formed a barrier they couldn't go past, and they saw that the flames had already engulfed the doorway. They squeezed through the only available exit that led outside, but Joan's leg got broken in the process. Mary was confused and tried to get help as the fire grew bigger. Rusty, who had also found his way out, kept barking frantically, and he suddenly sprang into action. He knew that he had to do something to save the baby. He wasn't going to let the fire stop him, so he darted back into the house, ignoring the intense heat and shocking smoke. He could hear the baby's cry, and he knew that he had to find him and get him out. Through sheer instinct and determination, Rusty made his way back to the baby's room. He found the little one laying on his bed and crying loudly. Rusty gently picked up the baby in his mouth with the blankets wrapped around him. As he reached the window, he knew he had to find a way to climb out. He began to jump up, using the bed and the other furniture to propel himself upwards. With each jump, he came closer to the window. Finally, after several attempts, Rusty was able to grab onto the windowsill with his front paws and hoist himself up. Despite the intense heat and smoke, Rusty managed to climb through the small window opening, carrying the baby in his mouth. Outside, Joan and Mary were in panic. They didn't know if they would ever see their beloved dog or their baby again. Suddenly, they heard a noise coming from the other side of the house, where the baby's room was. It sounded like Rusty barking and crying for help. When Rusty finally got outside, he put the baby down, and before he collapsed, he tried to get attention, but later fell to the ground. Exhausted and injured from the fire, Joan and Mary rushed to his side and pulled him to safety. They could see that Rusty had burns on his paws and fur, and his eyes were filled with tears from pain. But he had done it. Rusty had saved their baby from the fire. They were overjoyed and relieved but shocked at the same time. The fire department arrived soon after, and they were able to put out the fire and save what was left of the house. Joan and Mary were grateful beyond words, and they later rushed Rusty to the vet, where he received treatment for his burns and injuries. The vet said that Rusty was lucky to be alive, but he would recover with proper care and attention. As Rusty started to recover, Joan and Mary couldn't help but think about how close they came to losing everything they held dear. They knew that they owed everything to Rusty, who had risked his own life to save their baby. Over the coming weeks and months, Rusty recovered and was back to his old self again. Joan and Mary made sure to give him extra love and attention, knowing that he deserved every bit of it. Rusty had become a true hero in their eyes, and they were forever grateful for everything he had done for their family. As for the baby, he grew up with Rusty by his side, and they became the best of friends. In the end, Rusty's bravery and selflessness had changed the lives of everyone in the family. He had shown them that true love knows no bounds and that sometimes the smallest member of the family can be the biggest heroes of all. If you found this story inspiring, leave a comment below, like and subscribe to this channel too.